Today we are making a striking piece. We'll be turning a bit of paint, some wall putty and a little heavy gesso into a stunning bald eagle. I've been asked to make this one a few times before and I can't wait to show you how I did it. Stick around until the end to see the final results. This piece is for sale on my website abcreativeofficial.com. It's one day after Easter. I am back in my studio. I've been away for 2 weeks, so I'm finally back and I'm ready to go. I actually found out that I don't have my usual size canvas, so I'll be working on a bigger one. This one is 35.6 by 45.7. Been thinking of something very special. I actually had it on my list forever. I know how you like various textured backgrounds, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to apply heavy gesso. Now we've got these colours: Phthalo blue, Prussian blue, Payne's grey, which has got a bluish hint to it. I want a background that's blue, red and white, but I don't want the colours to mix. Obviously, if I start mixing red with white, you know what will happen. I'm going to have some pink hues. If I mix red with blue, I'll have purple. So I really have to plan it well. So first of all, let me just do this. It's a nice colour, but you know what I want? I want it a bit more withered. Let's apply some more. But I want off-white. That's my favourite way of making off-white, with some gold. I know you're probably surprised if you haven't seen me doing it before. Okay, so I am lightening a bit of my blue. Yeah, that's fine. Should probably cover. I'm not really planning to make it as realistic as possible. I don't want anything purple on my flag. Also, there is going to be an eagle. Yes, there's going to be an eagle. Scarlet is very vibrant, but I think mixed with crimson will be fine. A vibrant red at the bottom, maybe darker red on top. As you can see, I decided to help myself with some lines, just so that I know where I'm applying the colours. As you can see, this is only going to be a small section of the flag. You know what? I wish you told me how stupid I was. Apologies, profusely apologize to my American friends. You know, I started with colours and I completely forgotten that the white stripe is first. Yes. And I know you're probably thinking, what is she doing? What's she doing? Yes, I am going to fix my stupid mistake. The good news is, because it's all about layers and colour, that's fine. And I did want some peeping colours underneath. No, it's fine. And we've got a hint of red, which is exactly what I wanted, because it's something like a happy mistake. Okay, so now white, red, white. Red, white. Red, white, red. Oh no, the bottom one should be white. That's okay. It does look a bit aged, but not enough for my liking. So I mixed some titanium buff, and I've got Payne's grey as well. And now, because it's all dry, I'm going to add those on top. I know it looks kind of dramatic at the moment. This is water, nothing else. I could also apply this directly onto white, just to get this. Now what do I have here? I've got phthalo blue, Payne's grey and some titanium buff. That gave me a different shade of blue, which I'm applying in some sections here. Because the more layers we add, the more interesting the background will be. That's kind of how it works. I have a little bit of yellow ochre mixed with titanium buff. I'm just trying to touch some sections. I think now it looks like an old doll and painted. So far I think I am rather pleased with the messy look. I don't know what your thoughts are. Now I like this aged vibe, I must say. Now what do I have here? This is some baking paper. I could use tracing paper, but this is regular baking paper that I have. I like using baking paper because it's easily available. It's waxy, so I can play with my drawing here, rub it off 50 times if need be, and then transfer it onto the canvas instead of rubbing off the canvas. I really don't like rubbing off anything off my canvas. I don't know how many of you were watching my Big Raven tutorial. This is one of my ever favorite and it's hanging in my lounge actually now. I was thinking of the same style, the head and the shoulders maybe popping up and then the rest disappearing, especially that we've got this faded right side. So if the eagle is faded as well partially, I think that will look good. It's a good idea to look at some reference photos of a real eagle, otherwise it won't look very rough version so far. Took me way too long to get the right shape. So now I'm going to go over with my pencil, pressing pretty hard so that it transfers onto the canvas, especially because we have a dark background in lots of places. I've been trying to position him, and you know what? You won't believe it, but I don't like him this way. I actually don't like him disappearing here. But I prefer him this way, and I can't help it. So you know what I did? I just drew on this side now. I had to go over and draw on this side just because I don't like him standing and facing the disappearing flag. I want him stand and face the stars. Yes. Do you think that was the right decision and he looks better this way, or is it just my imagination? Since I can't hear you, I'm going to do it. Well, I'm going to do it the way I feel. So now you can use your nails or just a blunt edge and press down. It transferred superbly. Let's see what happened. I know you can't see anything, but I can. I'll show you why. Look, at this angle, I can see the lead clearly. I can go over some sections. But just for your sake, I hope this helps. I might just go over some parts here, the really messy ones. I often go backwards because I don't pre-plan my work usually, but this time I'm thinking, yes, let's finish the background before I apply the bird. So I found this cookie cutter, but unfortunately it would be awesome if I could use it, but I think the stars are smaller than the stripes. This is brisket paper, so I'm thinking what would be best, painting the stars individually or cutting them out and painting at the same time. I think I might go for this version. I don't need much at all, so I'm going to draw the stars and then I'm going to cut them out. I've been looking online at the size of the stars. Oh my goodness, I remember long time ago I had something like that. 10 years ago, maybe even longer. I had them somewhere. I'm going to search for them. If I find them, I'll be more than happy. La 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 la. This is my happy dance. I found them. I can't believe it. I actually found those. This will save me, well, probably at least half an hour of drawing and cutting. So I am blissfully happy. Now I'm trying to figure out how to position them. And this one, yes, it's going to be partially hidden. Okay, so I'm going to place all of them. I actually have quite a selection. Now, how am I going to paint them? That's a very good question. I'm thinking and thinking. I mixed this off-white again with titanium buff and my titanium white. I'm going to use this. This is blue tack. I'm trying to make a stamp. Again, I want the stars to be as messy as this. So pick it up. I'm curious. Oh my goodness. Maybe it's a bad idea. Okay. Yeah, that's too much paint, but that's all right. I've got the shape. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted, I must say. Now my hands are sticky. Ah. It's a labor of love, isn't it? Well, art. But if I didn't enjoy myself, I wouldn't be doing it. So don't feel sorry for me. On some of them, I'll be using more of the titanium buff. Some of them may be more white. And I am going to continue. Yes, I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 16 to go. No problem. By star number 5, I got a bit wiser. What do I mean? I'm painting actually on the shiny side, and that transfers so much nicer. There's only one problem. It's so smooth that I can't peel it off. So I am using my knife to lift them up. The more you do, the better it looks. Now I'm lifting it up because it's so well stuck. My jar with paste. Well, definitely not enough. So I know some of you will be very happy because I'll be mixing my paste. I do explain it in so many videos, but there are always new people who come to watch my tutorials, so I'm sure they'll be happy. This is what I use to make my tubes. You can see very clearly on this one. It says handpicked with care. Yes. So now with care, I'm going to make a tube. See, it pays off not throwing away some stuff. Okay, so basically rolling it into a tube. Now I'm going to tape it with sellotape. That's it. Not much left, but way more than I need. So that's what some of you might call spackle or wall putty. I know some people make their paste with some other ingredients. If you make it with something that works really, really well and it's nice and smooth, would you mind sharing that in the comments with us? I think I would like to try something different. I did hear about the paper fiber as well, but I don't know, it sounds a bit complicated. I like easy solutions, easy and not too expensive as well, because of course we can buy ready-made texture paste online or in any art shop. And this is heavy gesso. I usually say I mix half and half, but I don't measure anything. Maybe sometimes it's more, probably tend to have a little bit more filler than gesso. So otherwise it's a bit too runny. But this gesso is, as I said, super heavy. So what I want is some, I would say, thick cream, or whipped cream even, maybe. Now look at this consistency. So it's really like thicker ice cream. Transfer. Just had a thought, you know, it does look like kind of ice cream, so I would really recommend, you know, keeping anything like it away from children and animals. Once the edge is taped, I can fold it comfortably, so it's easy for me to hold. And tape it again here. When I trim the nozzle, I can start working. Now, before I start working, I went to my lounge to fetch this. I only make one piece at a time, and I never tried before. So when I was making this, my very first raven, my very first bird like this, and I didn't know whether it's going to work. Now I like it so much that it's actually hanging over my sofa, but I kind of forgot how I applied the feathers. So this is really for me sort of checking how it was done, because again the eagle will be slightly similar in a way. I thought this canvas was big, but the other one is massive and it's so much heavier. This is a lightweight canvas and it's not so deep. You need a jar with water to dip my brush, so then it works smoothly. And I also need some kind of testing ground. Oh, I can see, okay, can see how it comes out. Let's start with this part, because this part is going to be hopefully easier. I'm going to apply quite a lot, maybe even, you know, second layer. And yes, I am going to lose on the features to some extent, so don't be alarmed if things start disappearing first. Very serious look, thanks to that brow. Let me see what this will look like once I spread it first. I'm trying to be careful with the outer lines. Look, even me touching the paste now, I wanted to say that when we create texture in art, texture in art is very often implied. When we paint something, creating the imaginary texture. This time, this is a combination of both. I will be, of course, painting, but at the moment, I am creating actual texture with my brush. Now, it's easier going this way or maybe that way. Remember, I wanted it a bit more curved. Why did I stop here? Because there's this part with the nostrils that's going to be on top, and I wanted it really nicely made. Now I'm using my very thin brush. Oh, it's so wet, I can't actually do it. I have to wait for it to dry a bit. I'm not able to dig at the moment, see, because it's too wet. Okay, well, that's fine, that's fine. I think the eagle will forgive me the blasphemy that the beak at the moment resembles a parrot beak. Okay, mister. Oh, now it's going to be easy spreading like that. But the main thing is spreading in the direction of the feathers. Check how the feathers grow, otherwise the bird will not look real. Now, instead of the breast, I am actually applying the hidden wing. Mind you that sometimes in the paste there are some little blobs from the wall putty. No matter how well you mixed, it always happens that here and there you have a little blob that you have to remove. Okay, so now you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to spend probably half an hour covering. I would like to somehow be able to blend him into the flag. Now this wing, I'm going to outline it, and as you can see, I'm kind of fading him away. This wing, of course, is going to be a bit thicker than that one. Oh, it's partially, look, can touch it all. That's how quickly it dries. Incredible. So just on its own would never dry so quickly. These days, it's so difficult to find a photo of a real thing. Every other picture I looked at, I think it was AI. This one looks like a real bird. Now I've got this smaller tube. That's pretty old. And I'll try to outline the eye somehow. The time for the eyeball. Well, I'm basically going to fill the whole space just like that. I can always sand it down if I put too much. Let me flatten it with water on my brush. See, the spike is gone. I wonder who's going to try this bird first. I'm hoping that lots of you who were requesting eagle, the bald eagle, the American eagle, will be happy. I must say that a huge percentage of my lovely subscribers, and not to mention my patrons, are from the US, so I am hoping I made you happy, guys. Well, we'll see at the end. You know, you have to have a day to feel like making a particular design. Well, my family is always like, oh, why don't you make this? Why don't you make that? You've got the list. But I can't. It's like you need to have the right inspiration, the right day, I don't know. Hopefully you've noticed, because I was trying really hard to make certain parts more 3D than others. So obviously we've got the head and this part sort of more popping up. Also the part of the wing, a little bit of the tummy. This one is flat and these are completely disappearing. That was the plan. That's why if you see the top of the head, this is the thickest, and I just want to match the beak somehow. So I'm going to fill up this section first. It's the part of the beak, but somehow it almost looks like it was a separate entity. And you've probably noticed I am dipping it in water on and off till it's nice and flat. If I cover the nostril, I'll revisit it. See, I want it more on top. And now I can apply the rest, and I'll try to make it super smooth. Well, see if I can. officially, I'm leaving it to dry. I'm not going to work with the paste anymore. Painting time. I'm going to choose the darker option, like this mid-tone here, sort of dirty white. We need some grey. I think it's alright for the first layer. I've decided it's going to be easier probably for me to add highlights later on. Titanium buff? No, buff titanium. A bit more beige than grey now. I will go with this brown, which is burnt umber, painting wise. That's probably the brown that I like the most. That's very dark. But it's okay because I will be adding some highlights as well. Now my only problem is how to blend him into the background. That was my original idea, and I still would like to do it. Well, basically I'll try to cover him quickly with this color, and then we'll think what to do next. Touching the leg now, part of the leg. I do have a very small brush now because I was covering the edge. You can see the wing is lighter, and now I am going to introduce the tail just like that, because I'm not going to really paint the actual tail since it's going to be, well, disappearing here. I'm holding it up so I can see where the 3D elements finish. It helps me see better. I really want to get in between those finished feathers here. So all of this is going to be darker. Looks like a bandit now. Let's paint the beak, though we've got some nice contrast here. I don't know if this is the yellow I want to use for the final layer, but at the moment I'm okay with it. So this is Naples yellow. I'm going to use this as a first coat and then see if I like it. Touch of orange yellow. No, way too orange. Of course, maybe touch of brown. This is burnt sienna, so I can use this for the bottom part of the beak, perhaps. That gave us some really color boost, didn't it? Really, really vibrant. I do have some black. I'm going to touch the nostrils gently inside. One nostril. A touch of white on top, because this section is going to be the lightest, of course. So maybe let's apply this very light, almost white yellow around first. Black in here. I'm very careful. I don't want to go over my yellow sections. I want to lighten up some feathers. Burnt sienna, raw umber and white. Keep adding the feathers to the tummy and here where the legs are. So now the darker brown serves as our shadows. I'm going for some very light yellow eye. Everyone I checked had a slightly different eye, but one thing they had in common, they were very light, and I like it. Such a majestic bird, unbelievable. And now a very, very round black dot. So to be sure that my dot is round, I am going to use the end of the brush. I think I'm going to make it slightly bigger, because if it's too small, it looks slightly too, I want to say, evil. A little shadow here, because obviously this part of the eye is going to be darker. Okay, so let's just do it this way. I'm happy with the bird. Now I need to do something here at the bottom. I don't want the eagle to be chopped off. I wanted him to sort of emerging from some mist. That was the original thought. Meanwhile, I covered the edges, this cream color, and I do have the same mix on the plate, a little bit. I'm going to sort of extend some of these onto his legs. Yes, if I yeah, you say something like that. I must say that when I made a mistake with the stripes at the beginning, probably it was the best mistake I've ever made, because I'm so happy with the layering of the colors, like the red underneath the white. I think it looks, well, forgive me, but I think it looks super good like this. I think I said it before, I can't wait for someone to make an eagle, 3D eagle. I'm really looking forward to pictures. So if you follow my tutorial and you decide to make something similar, it would be awesome if you send me an image. The best way is via Instagram or by email. Also, if you're posting on social media, it would be awesome if you could mention me as a source of inspiration. I think it's a lovely thing to do. Final touches. A little bit of, whoop, way too much. I said a little bit of a shadow. Nice and thin. There you go. There we are. I hope you enjoyed this one. I am so happy with how this piece turned out. If you've stuck around till this long, please let me know by leaving an emoji with your country's flag in the comments, and I'll try my best to give it a heart. If you would like to support my channel, or if you're looking for more content, you can find extended versions of my tutorials on Patreon every week. My last one was over an hour and a half long. And don't forget that this piece is available for sale on my website, abcreativeofficial.com. Thank you so much for watching. See you all next time. Bye bye.